Never heard of him, never spoken to him, don't know him. Greg's the man. All that without getting proper confirmation. It's not easy here. What you would have to do is purchase 29.9% from the three big shareholders and then take a chance on making an offer to the rest. I'm not going to sit down and talk to them, just as these people would not be taken in and come in and purchase 30% of the shares, knowing full well that Wednesdayite can, at the drop of a hat, bump like that, call an EGM. How many times has it been in the press that I will give £500,000 for the club to spend in return for the shares? How many times does that have to be reported? These people who call themselves fans are nothing but a bunch of cretins, and I hope you've got that word right, cretins, because that is what they are. I am not going to be sitting in the director's box on match days with my grandchildren and having so-called fans, the majority of whom revolve around Wednesdayite, shouting,
"We'd better stop there."
95% of the fans of this football club are very happy with what's going on. It's just that lot, they will never be happy. You only have to come to the AGMs and listen to them. I mean, there was at the last AGM, there was one woman stood up, the most venomous bitch I've ever come across in my life. She got 3 pages of diatribe to read out about me. It was just absolutely appalling. Why were we doing that? You know, I can't believe these people. Scum.
Scum and cretins are the words that we used to describe it. Really? And I want it to be made known that he used the word cretin, so I want to make sure everyone knows that.
Right. It's just his choice of language, which is I've never come
Well, we heard him apparently called us cretins, is that right?
Yeah, cretins, that was the word. He was very strong in his. That was the word he wanted to emphasise. 95% of Wednesday fans are behind him. It's only a small minority, scum in his words at the end of the conference, who are really trying to drag the club down.
Well, if he believes that we're trying to drag the club down, if other people believe we're trying to drag the club down, they only have to look at what we've been doing around the area, trying to work with the club for some time now. We are true fans of the club. I've been coming to this ground for 50 years. I am not trying to drag it down. We are trying to move the club forward. We're trying to do our bit to move the club forward.
What's your views on what you understand Dave Allen said today?
Our understanding of what's happened in that days has made us feel very sad. I think an opportunity to move the club forward seems to have slipped away, and that's a shame.
He's basically said he's in it for the long haul, that Wednesday will continue to be run as a good club. He feels he's done a good job.
He's worked very hard, I think, and he obviously came into a very difficult time, and everybody appreciates that. But the club does need to move forward. It seems to, off the field, things seem to have slipped a bit lately. The club does need to move forward. And he himself has said that he was looking to bring investment in. That's not something that's come from anywhere else. That was his statement some time ago. It's a shame that if he's tried to do that and he's failed, then that's very sad. It's a shame.
But he's saying that investors want 50%. He reckons they can guarantee 50% if they could get the 10% back from you guys. And reading out 2 letters from solicitors, he's suggesting that that's one of the things that cost the Paul Gregg deal and the Carson Young deal.
Then, if that's the case, then the people who seem to want those shares should be talking to us, don't you think?
His argument is that the club can't really move forward, without a new wealthy investor coming into the club.
That might be the case, but then I think the fact that Mr. Gregg was involved for quite a few months shows that there are people out there who are prepared to make a bid for the current board's shareholding, and that should be a starting point. We've seen it happen with Birmingham, haven't we? Someone goes in, gets a position on the board, and that's a starting point. From then on, you discuss with whether you need to discuss with how do you move forward from there. Is it necessary for us to hand over our shares for an offer of £500,000 into the players' kitty? Is that the best way of moving the club forward?
The answer from Dave would be yes.
The answer from us would be there are other things which can be looked into.
Like what?
Like rights issue, shares issue, which will raise a lot more than £500,000.
This offer of £500,000 is on the table for the shares. Would Wednesdayite be willing to sell?
I'm willing to walk through that door now and talk to Mr. Allen if he wants to talk to us. We've been offering to talk to him about any issue that he's got a problem with for a long time. All the time that he said this negotiation with Mr. Gregg's been going on for 6 months, we've been offering to talk. We sent him a letter just a few weeks ago with all our phone numbers on saying, here we are, come and talk to us, but we've had no response.
As a Wednesday fan, do you not want the club to move forward?
I certainly do. And I don't see how we're being an obstruction to that. We've offered to talk, we've offered to discuss any issue which is thought will play a part in moving the club forward. We've been standing outside here all afternoon, willing to talk.
What's the solution then? Because it seems to be an impasse here. I mean, he's not prepared to talk to you. You're not prepared to give up the shares. What's the way forward?
The solution is for us to walk through that door and talk to Mr. Allen directly, or to anybody else who feels that our shares are an issue.
Where does he get the rest though? How is he going to make up that overall control for a potential investor?
Whoever's got control of the boardroom could do a share issue, a rights issue. It's been done at other clubs and increase their percentage shareholding that way to sell on. Someone could come in and get control of the boardroom with the board shares and do something similar. There are ways that can be investigated of how to increase a shareholding to a control to what Mr. Allen perceives to be a controlled level. You see, I have a problem with this. He's been controlling, or the board has been controlling the club with their shareholding for some time now. There's never been an issue. There's never been a problem with the kind of control they've got. So why is there suddenly an issue now? I just find it a little difficult to understand how the deal that he says has been ongoing with Mr. Gregg for 6 months has reached a couple of weeks before the season and suddenly broken down because they can't get hold of Wednesdayite's 10% shares. That doesn't make sense to me. I would have thought if our shares were an issue with that particular deal, people would have been talking to us before now.
With the shares being as fragmented as they have been for the last 15 years, has it moved Wednesday forward?
I think Mr. Allen will tell you himself he's moved the club forward over the last 5 years and he's had 31%, 32% of the share. Why does he sign in another 20%? And at the end of the day, we've only got 10% of them. We are willing to talk about how the club can move forward. If that involves anything to do with our shares, come and discuss with us what that deal might be, how our shares are going to play a part, and we'll talk about it. At the end of the day, we have to recommend to our members what they should do with their shares.
He's critical of Wednesdayite because of the involvement with Ken Bates.
I wasn't involved with Ken Bates. I've been on the Wednesdayite board now for 2 years. Things have changed. Things move on. Ken Bates was a long time ago.
And he also associates Wednesdayite. He says they provoke abuse to him in the director's box.
I'd like to see what evidence he's got on here. Certainly not our bit. People have been complaining that we're being too quiet. We've been polite. We have made requests to speak. We certainly are not involved in organising any kind of abuse. That's outrageous.
It's petty though, this, isn't it? From both sides.
In what way is offering to discuss in a sensible way, in a calm way, being petty? Calling people, from what I understand he said in there, calling people names is being petty. I would like to discuss in a grown-up way how our shares can be used to help the club.
What's your next step?
To go away, to think about what's happened today, to get over our sadness and try and see if we can extract somewhere some positives from it.